Create a robot in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. Click on Adobe Illustrator. Go to Essentials at the top on the right. Go to Reset Essentials. After you've done that, go to File and New. Make sure it's a letter size page, which is 8.5 by 11 inches. Name it your first name first. So, for example, if your name was Mike, you did Project Mike and then Project 1, and then hit OK. Once you hit OK, you're going to get your new document that pops up. Remember, it's the same thing, Command plus to zoom in, Command minus to zoom out, Command 0 to fit in on the screen. The first thing we're going to do is go over to the side here. I'm just going to pull the tools out so you can kind of see a little better. First step that we want to do is select a Ellipse Tool. With the Ellipse Tool, you can click and drag to create any kind of shape as long as you pull and then you let go. What we want to do first, though, at the top is select a color. So I'm going to click red. For the stroke, you can click a color. You can choose whatever color you'd like. I'm going to choose black. I'm going to put the stroke at 3 points. Then I'm going to leave the rest of it as is. Uniform, 5-point, opacity 100, and I'm just going to click and drag. If you hold Shift, you're going to get a perfect circle. If you hold Shift and Option, it pulls from the middle. So I'm going to do just about that. Okay. And then from there, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see actually a little bit closer. What I would like to do from there is I'm going to create an eyeball, and I'm going to do it off to the side here. So I'm going to hold Command on my keyboard and click Away. At that point, I'm going to grab the Ellipse Tool once again. I'm going to hold Option and Shift. I'm going to click and pull. I'm going to go back to the middle here, hold Option and pull and create another circle. I was doing Option and Shift to pull, create another circle. So what I want really in this is 3 circles. So we're going to do another one. So I'm going to click away, Command, click away, and then Option, pull, and drag to get those 3 circles. All right. Now, you can set them up any way that you'd like, really. They can be a little bit shifted over. If any point you want to change where the circles are, you take the V selection tool here. You can click and move them anywhere that you would like. You can shift them over. You can move them up. You can squeeze them together so they're more of an ellipse. You can drag one end so it kind of fills to the whole of one side. I'm going to put one more eyeball, so there should be 4 in total. You can see it here. I'm going to put one more eyeball like that. On this one, instead of a red fill, I'm going to make it a black fill. So it almost looks like an eye. And then I'm going to hold Command and click away. All right, so if I zoom out, Command minus, you see it looks like we have one eyeball that we could use. What I would like to do is take the black arrow now, click and drag around this piece, right-click, and group it together. If you did want to change the color or the size of any of these shapes, now that it's grouped, you'll notice when it's grouped, when I click it, the whole thing is selected instead of individual pieces. You can always right-click and ungroup at any time. I could also take this tool here, which is called the Group Selection Tool, the one with the plus sign, and I can click away and then click individually on any of these pieces that are within the group, and I could change their color. So if I really wanted to, I could take the inside one here and make it white. I could take this one here, I guess, and make it a slightly different color, like that or this or something. Right? But if I choose with the black arrow, it's still a group because I grouped it before. What I want you to do is click and drag and move it over onto the face. At that point, if you have the black arrow and whatever you want selected, in this case the eye, you hold Option on your keyboard. It turns into the little double arrow, which case means you can copy it. So we're going to copy it over onto the other side. Okay, once we have that, what we would like to do now is create a little bit of a mouth. So I'm going to go over to the rounded rectangle tool. I'm going to click and drag to create a mouth on this thing. And then once I've done that, you can again make it any color you want. You can make it a little smaller, a little bigger. That's sort of up to you, and that would be totally fine with me. If you now, with the white arrow, so click and hold to get the direct selection white arrow on this, you'll see that you can click on any shape and you'll see the anchor points. You can see here in white, there's a little anchor point, white anchor point, and all around. So you can click on one, and what I'm just going to do is just kind of pull it down a little bit. So if I pull it straight down, the head gets a little flatter. I could pull this and make the bottom more pointy. We're going to go back more into that in a little bit. Now from there, what I would like to kind of do is make some body shapes, some ears, and we're also going to do the hair for this. So what I would like you to do is go to the rounded rectangle. I'm going to move up a little bit by holding the space bar. I'll zoom out so you can see it better. I'm going to create a rounded rectangle just by clicking and pulling. If I hit the up arrow, it makes the sides more curvy. If I hit the down arrow while I'm pulling, it makes them sharper on the edges. So I'm going to get them nice and curvy, kind of like that. I'm going to change the color of it so you can see the body a little better. I'm going to make it a gray. And I'm going to right-click on this, arrange, and send to back. Now once I've done that, I could always reposition it and try to make it just perfectly straight if I would like. I could also take the eraser tool, which is what I had you guys do in class, and you can see the size of the eraser there, which you can make bigger or smaller with the bracket keys on your keyboard. And I want you to just kind of chop up the body a little bit. So what I do is, this is the only piece that's selected. I'm going to grab the eraser and just kind of graze over it. And you see it kind of creates a new shape. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to leave the shoulders as is, but you can see what I did to the bottom area so far. And then from there, we are going to use the rounded rectangle tool again. Rounded rectangle. I'm going to click and drag a rounded rectangle inside the body shape. I'm going to make it a little sharper on the edges. As I pull, there we go. And then I'm going to drop it. I'm going to make the inside of that a little bit darker so you can tell the difference. Then from there, what I would like to do is on the mouth, take that white direct selection tool, click on it, and you can see I can kind of pull this down a little bit and make it into any kind of expression or face that I would like. You can see from far away now he has a little bit of a smile from what he had before. Please be sure you are saving this as you go. Do a file, save as, and save it to your projects folder. For the hair here, we're going to do the ellipse tool. What I would like you to do is create some circles. So I'm holding shift to create these circles, and you can create them in all different sizes. Right now, the thickness of the stroke doesn't make that big a difference. I'm going to keep it at 3 right now. And you can choose to make one giant kind of hairdo. You can do little pieces that come off like this. A couple of big ones going across. And so you're just going to kind of throw these in. You can see what I'm doing here. Just trying to kind of piece them. Overlap them is fine. You can overlap them as much as you'd like. Trying to make some of those little pieces kind of come off. You could also move them if you have them in the wrong spot at first. Okay. Oops, those two are bad. Remember, you can always do edit, undo, command Z. You can go back a bunch of steps. So once you have it like that, what I would like to do now is take the black arrow, click on them, and try to select all of them. You can select them all by clicking and dragging over them like that to grab most of them. You can hold shift and grab any of the others that were missed. So you can see the whole thing moves as one unit. I missed a couple right here, so I hold shift and I grab those. And then what I would like you to do is go to Window at the top. You go down to Pathfinder. Once you get to Pathfinder, you can hit this button here, which will allow you to unite them all into one piece. We are then going to right-click on this, arrange, and send to back. Also from here, just so you know, as you I think knew from before when we did the eyeball, if you click with the black arrow, you can extend this up, you can squish it down, you can make it thinner, fatter, whatever you'd like. Okay, then from there, what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom out so you can see what we have so far. I want you to create a few different pieces on the shoulder. So you're going to take the ellipse tool, hold shift, create a circle. We're going to use the eyedropper tool here and select this so they're the same color. If you'd like to make them different color, that's okay. Maybe I'll make it a little darker so you guys can see the difference. We're going to do one arm at a time. So inside the arm here, we're going to make a couple of more concentric circles like this, this, and this. All right, and you can move those around wherever you'd like, whatever you think looks best. You could totally do and move them and shift them around wherever you like them to be. I'm going to keep mine kind of right to the edge right there. All right. Now, after you've done that, you're going to go back to your rectangle tool. You're going to click and drag to create a thin rectangle. Up at the top where the fill is, I'd like you to use the black and white gradient. And then with that black arrow, you can see you can go over to the corner and you can actually turn it. And I want you to move this with the black arrow over onto here. Right click, arrange, and send to back. And then for this bottom piece, this is the bottom piece, a little tricky. We're going to start off with the rounded rectangle tool. We're going to command click away so nothing is selected. We're going to choose with the eyedropper the same color as the face. So now we have red as the fill and black as the stroke. Still a number 3 stroke. Rounded rectangle tool. Click and drag to create the rounded rectangle. Then I want you to grab the white direct selection tool. Click right on the corners, just like that. So these 2 anchor points that are the corners are what I'm selecting. And I'm going to hit the right arrow on my keyboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And do the same thing for this side. Click away, white arrow, click and drag so I get these 2 anchor points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Something like that. Looks pretty much even to me. Then I'm going to add 2 more circles. I'm going to take the ellipse tool here. Ellipse tool. Same colors. I'm going to hold Option and Shift and make a little circle there. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom, Option and Shift. So I got 2 circles, one at the top, one at the bottom, and then the piece in the middle. Take the black arrow, select both pieces, go over to your Pathfinder, unite them. So they become one piece now. And again, you can stretch them out a little bit, you can dip it down, you can do whatever you like. I'm going to rotate it and make it kind of a part of the arm, but it could be at any angle. You could have the arm looking like that would be fine. All right, now from there, I want to continue with the arm a little bit. So I am going to take the ellipse tool here, hold Shift, create a perfect circle. Then I want you to make a, take the eraser tool. And you can see the size of the eraser. I'm going to make it smaller with the left bracket key. And I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to pull straight across. So almost like a half or a semicircle. Right? Then from there, I'm going to use the rounded rectangle tool and I'm going to create a rounded kind of finger, really nice and round. Make sure it's as round as you can get it. And I'm going to make the fill of that black. So what I would like you to do with these, I'd like you to take about 3 or 4 of them, take the black arrow, and move them over on top. And you can kind of angle them at whatever angles you want the fingers to be at. I'm going to copy this and use it a few more times, just rotating, copying, rotating, copying. You could have 4 fingers or so here, and then I would make one more that's going to be a little bit fatter, not quite that fat, and rotate it and have it kind of sticking out of the edge like that, almost like a thumb. Then what I would like to do is click on the red and black one, right click, arrange, bring to front, so it's in front now. Then I'm going to click and drag to grab all of them. Then I'm going to move this piece kind of like that, so it looks like the hand is sort of connected to that little ball that's there. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to zoom out so you can see a little better. What I would like to do is grab this entire thing by clicking and dragging just to grab the hand, the forearm, the arm, and the shoulder piece. Right click and group them together. Once you've done that, you hold Option, click and drag, so you get 2 of them. At that point, to flip it, you'll see over here on your toolbar, you will see a rotate tool and a reflect tool. If you hit O on your keyboard, you'll get to the reflect tool. If you double click the reflect tool, you can do it vertically and just hit OK, and you see it flips it to the other side. From there, you take your black arrow, you could rotate a little bit if you want, put it kind of even with the other one, and you have your new finger. Now, your new hand and your new arm. If you want to change these up at all, you right click, ungroup, then you can click on any one of these and you can kind of change up the way the fingers are so they're not all exactly the same. You can even rotate the hand a little bit so it's not exactly the same. Okay, so you can change it up a little bit. All right, this is the end of the first video for project number 1 for graphics 2. We're going to move on to the second video for this, which will finish it up, the body, the legs, and a little bit of the head and the background.